So good evening, everyone. I will now call this meeting of MetroMasters Toastmasters to order. Um, Welcome to our members and to our guest, Samara. We're thrilled to have you with us today. So every meeting we begin with our club mission, just as a reminder. So the mission of a Toastmasters club is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every member has the opportunity to develop communication and leadership skills, which in turn fosters self-confidence and personal growth. So as a reminder, we'll have everyone mute their mic unless they're speaking and rename themselves with the role they'll be filling. We started the recording, we've filled the open roles, we've welcomed our guests. For our guests, we hope you feel welcome and encouraged to participate. We'd also appreciate if you could drop your name, email, and phone number into the chat. But now to guide us through today's meeting, please welcome our Toastmaster of the day, Distinguished Toastmaster Karen Baird.
Hello, welcome Toastmasters. I'm very happy to be here today. I'm just coming back from a trip from Baltimore from seeing my younger daughter, and my older daughter and I went together, so that was wonderful. We had a great time. So today let's just run down the agenda. We'll first cover club business, then we'll go into our word master of the day, which will be done by Dottie. Our first speaker of the day is also Dottie Hamilton, who will be evaluated by me. The second speaker will be Jelena, who will be evaluated by Kimberly. And the third speaker will be Kimberly, evaluated by Jelena. And we will explain as we get closer to those portions of the meeting, the timing rules and the purpose of the evaluations. We have a table topics master today, who is Jelena. We have Felice as our timer. So the only thing that's unfilled is the counter grammarian. So since we don't, unless somebody wants to volunteer, we'll leave that open for this meeting. Any volunteers? Kimberly? Okay, great. Thanks, Kimberly. So with that, we open the meeting. So welcome, everybody. The first thing we need to cover is a little bit of club business. We did have a meeting a week ago where we discussed potential officers for the upcoming club year. The new club year starts on July 1st. So we have this slate of officers that have been nominated. For president, myself, Karen Baird. Vice President, Jelena has been nominated. Vice President of Membership, Brittany, has been nominated and accepted the nomination. Vice President of Public Relations, Anthony. Vice Treasurer, Bill Moylan. Club Secretary, Sheila, and Sergeant at Arms, Kimberly. And given that there are no double, or there's no office where two people have expressed interest or been nominated. I'm currently the club secretary for the previous year. I will enter a single vote to approve this panel of officers, and that will be our new panel of officers in the coming year. Is there any discussion or questions regarding the election of officers? Okay. Other club business? I will defer to our current president, Jelena.
I'm not really sorry. I'm not really sure exactly what else business we have, but for those officers who are elected, there will be a training, I believe, in 2 weeks on the 21st, Saturday, the 21st. We would love for all of our officers to be trained. That helps us reach our goals and be successful in our club. So I will send out further information about that training, but it will be held hybrid, either online or at Lawrence Tech University.
Thank you. Yes, I intend to attend the training in person. So if anybody else wants to attend in person, look for me there. All right, let's go on to the speaking portion of our meeting. We'll go into now our word master. Our word master of the day is Toastmaster Dottie Hamilton. Dottie, please explain the purpose of word of the day and present your word.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Samara, welcome. I am excited about the word of the day. When we use the word, we expand our vocabulary, and we will signify by giving a hand clap when someone uses the word each time. You can use it more than one time. Each time, we will just congratulate you for using the word of the day. President Jelena.
Dottie, did you have a word of the day?
I am so sorry. Yes, I do. It is refractory, refractory. It is in the chat. Refractory is an adjective. Resisting control or authority, stubborn, unmanageable. Using it in a sentence was very easy for me. My husband, Willie, is practicing refractory behavior today. Thank you so much. It's in the chat.
Me? Okay. Oh, okay. There. I just saw it. I was going to say you said it was in the chat, but I didn't see it. But now I do. Thank you. Okay, great. Thank you for that word of the day. I was searching while you were speaking. Let me look at it again. Resisting control or authority, stubborn, unmanageable. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I hope our new officers are not going to be refractory. Now we're moving on to the prepared speeches portion of our meeting, and this is where each member who's speaking is speaking to attain a specific goal based on the educational pathway that they're on. So our first speaker of the day will be Toastmaster Dottie Hamilton. Dottie, will you tell me the title of your, where did I place my keys? Oh my gosh, I already can relate to it. So let's welcome for 5 to 7 minutes, Dottie Hamilton. Where did I place my keys? And please come off mute. Dottie, please unmute yourself.
I thank you so kindly for reminding me. I was preparing and was sharing my screen, getting it ready for the subject that I really want to talk about. It's dear to my heart. Now I will share my screen again. Fellow Toastmasters and President Jelena, I and our esteemed guest, Samara, you are seeing my screen. From the Alzheimer's Association, I did some research, and it is credible information that I'm going to present. Willie, dear Willie, have you seen my car keys? Willie, dear Willie, have you seen my glasses? Oh, you haven't seen them? My heavens, never mind. Here are my glasses on my face. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. In times past, we would shrug our shoulders at people we knew that repeated the same sentence over and over again in their conversations with us. Just today, at the assisted living residence where I volunteer every Tuesday to conduct chair exercises, I was talking with them about the topic that I would be sharing with you all. The title is about dementia, and you will see the website from which the information comes. The ladies told me that when they were growing up, they referred to people who did the symptoms that I displayed as they're losing it. Dementia is a general term referring to loss of memory, language problem solving, and other thinking abilities that interfere with daily life when they become severe. One of the things I found out is that Alzheimer's is the one word that everyone seems to know. Umbrella, the big umbrella is dementia. And as I was doing the research, I found out there are 400 types of dementia. The most prevalent one is Alzheimer's. The reason why I wanted to do this was because I said, is there a difference? I hear Alzheimer's. I hear dementia. So now I know it is the big umbrella, dementia. And one of the spokes coming down from inside the umbrella is Alzheimer's. The other ones that are sort of prevalent are vascular dementia, Lewy body dementia, frontal temporal dementia, and sometimes Huntington's dementia. Mixed dementia, as it says, can be more than one. And we want to make sure that when we have people that are displaying and their behavior seems to affect their relationships, well, we should make sure that we take them to find out the cause. Now, you see, Alzheimer's accounts for 60 to 80% of the cases. So that's why everyone seems to know the A word. I have a friend in Arkansas talking with her about her husband. She told me that one day, a year ago, her husband had this bad headache, and she took him to the doctor. He had bleeding on the brain, microscopic bleeding, and they didn't know how it started. It did stop on its own, but now he is showing signs of dementia a year later. We are able to do so much research now, and it does say that there are things that look like dementia, but they are reversible, such as thyroid problems and vitamin deficiencies. One of the things about dementia is that it is irreversible. It is a brain disease. Short-term memory, planning and preparing meals, remembering appointments, traveling out in the neighborhood. I have another personal story. My sister had to experience this with her husband. He was driving and would not remember how to get back home. And one time he was gone, they had to search within the neighborhood of where they thought he would be and get the police to bring him back home. Eventually, what did they do? They took his keys. It's progressive. It starts out slowly, in which you will experience saying the same sentence over and over, or forgetting where you put things. It's, as I said before, see a doctor. Don't ignore these symptoms in our loved ones or ourselves. I love to talk about research. And I found out that extensive research is being done with people who are 100 years or more. They're finding out that they preserve their cognitive function despite being older. And all we have to do is remember cognitive activity, social engagement, physical activity, and managing managing your health would be the best. Activities, stay engaged, keep your mind always learning. And thank you so much for allowing me to share this topic with you. Back to President Jelena.
Juliana, we'll go back to me as Toastmaster of the day. Thank you so much, Dottie, for your speech. Hey, I'm just going to count that as a regular mistake, nothing more, okay? And now we'll go on to our next speaker. Our next speaker is going to, I see that you have Reflect on Your Path as the title. Is that correct? Oh, wonderful. Our next speaker, who is Toastmaster Jelena Verkler, will be giving us the final speech from her Pathways path. So this means she is completing her pathway, all 5 levels. Oh, that's exciting. And she's going to reflect upon what she's learned throughout that whole experience. We're going to allow her 8 to 12 minutes.
It's 10 to 12.
I'm sorry, 10 to 12?
Yeah.
Sorry, we're going to allow her 10 to 12 minutes for her reflection upon her path. Please welcome Toastmaster Verkler.
Palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. No, this isn't just an Eminem song. This was me, every time that I had to speak in front of a crowd. My first real experience with public speaking was during a school presentation. It was only supposed to be 5 minutes, but in the moment, it felt like a lifetime. I had hives, I was sweating through my shirt, and my voice was trembling so badly, I could barely get the words out. I walked off that stage feeling embarrassed, defeated, and completely convinced that public speaking wasn't for me. But here I am now, standing in front of you, giving this speech, not because I have to, but because I want to. Because what I didn't know then is that just because something doesn't come naturally doesn't mean you can't grow into it. And that's exactly what Toastmasters became for me. Not just a public speaking club, but a personal evolution. One of the first steps in that evolution was the icebreaker speech. Just talk about yourself, they said. Well, that's easier said than done. I sat down to write and immediately went blank. What was worth sharing? What made me, me? It turned into more than an introduction. It became an introspection. I started sorting through my hobbies, my passions, my experiences, and the things that truly matter to me. What do I value? What do I want people to see in me? Those questions stuck with me. And when I revisited the icebreaker on a new path, I didn't just write a new speech. I saw a new version of myself, someone with more clarity, more confidence, and a stronger sense of identity. Toastmasters didn't just teach me how to talk about myself, it taught me how to know myself. Toastmasters didn't just help me find my voice, it helped me understand my value. Through speech after speech, I uncovered a skill I hadn't fully appreciated: the ability to take complex information and make it accessible, engaging, even memorable. At work, that ability didn't go unnoticed. I became the go-to person for presentations. especially when the topic was dense or data heavy. Colleagues would say, "Wow, you made that so easy to understand." Or, "You didn't just present the numbers, you told a story." Soon, I wasn't just sharing insights internally. I was chosen to represent my company in front of leadership teams, cross-functional partners, and even external stakeholders. I wasn't just a data analyst anymore. I had become a storyteller, a translator, a trusted voice. Toastmasters helped me earn that reputation and helped me believe I deserved it. That newfound confidence spilled into every corner of my life. I started leading programs through workplace initiatives focused on the things that I care most about, like health, well-being, and social change. One of my proudest moments was leading a webinar called Joyful Movement, designed to help people decouple exercise from weight loss and rediscover the joy of moving their bodies. I braced for a handful of attendees, but instead, more than 500 people signed up. The impact was powerful. People said it transformed their entire outlook on exercise, that they felt seen, inspired, and above all, kinder to themselves. Even weeks later, participants were still reaching out, excited to share how they'd gotten moving and embraced that joy. That's when I realized Toastmasters hadn't just given me a voice. It had given me a platform to lead, a platform to connect, a platform to inspire. I wasn't just learning how to communicate, I was learning how to make a difference. But with growth comes the chance and the responsibility to give back. And that's where mentorship came in. One of the most meaningful speeches I've given was about someone who mentored me. Writing it made me truly reflect on what makes a great mentor and the kind of support that stays with you. I was lucky to have that kind of mentor in Toastmasters, someone who pushed me beyond my comfort zone, encouraged me to lead, to compete, to try things I never imagined. Their belief in me helped me believe in myself. Eventually, I had the chance to pay it forward. When I volunteered to mentor 2 interns at work, I was scared that I didn't have much to offer. But I quickly learned mentorship isn't about knowing everything. It's about sharing what you do know, offering support, and most of all, showing up. By the end of the program, both interns told me they felt they'd had the best experience out of anyone in their cohort, and leadership took notice. But the bigger reward? I grew too. Because Toastmasters didn't just help me find my voice, it taught me how to use it to uplift others. And now, just like someone once invited me to join Toastmasters, I get to be the person who opens that door for someone else. Mentorship taught me the power of support, but it also showed me something deeper. Real growth lives outside your comfort zone. And if Toastmasters has taught me anything, it's how to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Between speeches, table topics, contests, and receiving feedback, I kept putting myself in situations that stretched me. And something magical happened. Every time I stepped out of my comfort zone, that zone expanded. I became more confident, more courageous, and more willing to try things I had once avoided. Eventually, I even signed up for an acting class, something the old me would have never imagined. Discomfort became my greatest teacher, showing me that the moments that scare us most are often the ones that shape us. Now, I don't just face discomfort, I seek it out because I know that's where growth lives. But growth isn't always a straight line. This year, there was a speech competition where everything fell apart. I forgot key points and my nerves got the best of me. The old me would have spiraled. But this time, I paused, I reflected, I learned. And that shift from self-criticism to self-growth might just be the biggest win of all. That lesson in embracing discomfort didn't just change how I face challenges, It also unlocked leadership skills I didn't know I had. When I stepped up as a club officer, I quickly learned that leadership isn't about control or having all the answers. It's about responsibility for not just yourself, but for the success and well-being of others. True leadership is about seeing the potential in people and helping them believe in it too. It's about planning, motivating, adapting, and above all, listening. Those lessons didn't stay confined to Toastmasters meetings. They carried over into my professional life, where I took on the role of project manager and joined the leadership board of my employee resource network. And I learned something important. I didn't have to become someone else to lead effectively. I just had to show up as myself. Now, none of that growth that I've shared would have been possible without one essential ingredient, and that's community. Week after week, I was surrounded by people who showed up, not just to listen, but to encourage me, to offer honest feedback, and to celebrate every milestone, no matter how small. And over time, those familiar faces became something more. I got to know their stories, share in their joys and struggles, and feel genuine pride watching them grow. We were all brought here for different reasons, different goals, different fears, but what we found was the same: a space to become braver, better, and more ourselves. Toastmasters became more than a learning environment. It became a safe, welcoming place where I didn't have to be perfect. I just had to be willing to try, willing to stumble, willing to keep growing. And as I looked around, I realized I wasn't walking this path alone. We were all on different journeys at different stages, but we were growing together, lifting each other up along the way. They say every Toastmasters club is unique, but this one became my home. When I joined Toastmasters, I thought I was signing up to become a better public speaker. But in the end, I found so much more. I found confidence. I found purpose. I found a community. I found me. Toastmasters didn't just teach me how to speak up. It taught me to believe that what I have to say matters. It taught me that my voice has value. And if you're on this journey too, know this: you're not just learning how to give a speech. You're learning how to lead, how to grow, how to rise. Toastmasters isn't just a club. It's a catalyst, a transformation. At the start of this speech, I quoted Eminem: "Palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy." That was me, frozen by fear, overwhelmed by the very idea of speaking up. But as he also says, you only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. Toastmasters gave me the courage to take that shot. And because I did, I'm not just showing up. I'm speaking with purpose. I'm connecting with people. I'm sharing ideas that matter. I'm stepping into every opportunity with clarity, confidence, and conviction. This is my moment. And thanks to Toastmasters, I didn't miss it. So if you're standing where I once stood, nervous, unsure, holding back, remember, you only get one shot. So take it. Step into your moment. Lose yourself in the music of your own voice and story, because your breakthrough is waiting. And when it comes, you won't just be ready, you'll own it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give you a standing ovation for that one. Great story. You know what's going to happen? Now we have to have you as the guest speaker at an open house. Wonderful story. Our next speaker is Kimberly Baird Cooley. Kimberly has been working on the engaging humor pathway. So she comes to us today with a 5 to 7 minute speech called "Opposites Attract?" with a question mark. So let's find out if they really do or if they are refractory. Kimberly Baird.
They say opposites attract, and to some degree, I think that's true. My husband Jeff and I, we're not exactly opposites. He's more like a well-tended campfire, reliably keeping you warm and providing a sense of security. Whereas I am more like a sparkler. Bright and fun, but also a little unpredictable and it might burn your hand. We're both sources of light for each other, but the method of delivery is quite different. For example, our sense of humor overlap. We can always make each other laugh, but our styles are very different. Jeff is annoyingly, effortlessly funny in this very dry and sometimes slightly ribbing way. Once when we were gardening, I was dramatically struggling to pick up a heavy bucket full of dirt, kind of like, oh, it's so heavy. A little bit for comedic effect and mostly just because it was really heavy. And he watched me while I whined about it being too heavy, looked at me matter-of-factly and said, "Well, heave ho." And I laughed so hard at that pun, I lost all my strength, fell to the ground, and he had to pick up the bucket anyway. So, joke's on you, sir. Now me, I'm more like Carol Burnett. Not nearly as talented, but in the same comedic styling. Lots of exaggerated physical humor and absurdity. So one of my favorite ways to get a cheap laugh out of Jeff is to do impressions of him while he's sleeping to him. Because Sleeping Beauty, he is not. He snores so loud it could overpower a lawnmower. And on top of that, he twists and turns like a fish caught on a line in his sleep. So you can imagine that the opportunities for comedy are rife. Another thing about us being different is our styles of speech in general. Jeff, very monotone, very steady. He doesn't have a baby voice at all. You know how some people talk to their little kids or their pets in a baby voice, like, "Oh, little baby, I love you so much, you're so cute." Yeah, well, he doesn't have one. Our cats might come up to him and snuggle up in his lap and his arms, and he'll be holding them, looking at them lovingly, like the human personification of the heart eye emoji. And while they're curled up, he'll say, "Flower is a good cat. I love you, Flower." And when Flower comes over to me, I say, "Flower Louise, my good girl, I love you." And when she starts making her biscuits, I sing her little biscuit song, "Working hard at the biscuit factory. She's working hard at the biscuit factory." Jeff would never sing the biscuit factory song. Never in a million years. But you know, Jeff's strong and steadfast presence brings harmony to balance my more expansive melodies of emotion. When one of our cats got dangerously ill, having to spend nearly a week in the hospital, amassing a huge medical bill, over $10,000, I was a complete wreck. I was having panic attacks, I was crying all the time, worrying that my baby was going to die. And Jeff was scared too, but his warm campfire energy kept me from fully giving in to the worst case scenarios and what if. And then when Jeff gets down about the state of the world and how cruel people can be to each other, because despite his steadfast energy, he's actually quite sensitive inside. I give him some of my crazy sparkler energy to perk him back up. I hope everybody finds their not exactly opposite person and has a chance to be that for someone else too. We all have light inside of us, and sharing it with each other makes the world brighter and better. Thanks.
Wonderful, wonderful, Kimberly. Thank you. Now we're going to go into the portion of our meeting where we are practicing extemporaneous speech, off the cuff. And so I will ask Toastmaster Jelena to be our table topics master and explain the rules to our guests.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. So I'm the Table Topics Master today. As a reminder, this segment helps us grow by practicing impromptu speaking, so thinking quickly and organizing our thoughts under pressure. So I will begin by calling on a participant before sharing the question. Once called, please unmute and you'll have 1 to 2 minutes to respond. Guests are welcome to join in, or you can say pass if you prefer to observe. So in line with my speech, I have chosen a theme for today's table topics to be kind of our experiences with Toastmasters. So first I will say, Toastmaster Felice, what are you most proud of since joining Toastmasters? What are you most proud of since joining Toastmasters?
Thank you, Toastmaster Jelena Verkler. Thank you for that question. I have joined Toastmasters for maybe a year or so, and I've been given a little bit speech and attended most of the meetings so far. And for what I'm most proud of, I think it's more about the skill, the ability to speak and think. That is the goal that I am trying to achieve by joining the club. I am not hoping to become a public speaker in any way, but my day-to-day life, I have to talk to people in work or in other places, and I need to understand what they are saying, and I need to convey my response to them. And usually my difficulty is with thinking, like when they give me an answer, I have to think about it and come up with my opinion with it. And while I am talking, that's difficult. And I've been practicing that here a lot, and I think it's been very helpful. Right now I am thinking and I am talking and trying to avoid all the filler words. So that is, I am grateful for.
Amazing. I asked you that question specifically because I've seen so much growth in you, and I wanted you to get a chance to shout out that you were proud of yourself. You should be. Okay, next I will ask Kimberly. You can either answer one or both of these. I'm going to ask, what was your favorite speech to write, and what speech challenged you the most? So you can answer both of them, or you can answer one of them. What was your favorite speech to write, and what speech challenged you the most?
My favorite speech to write was a speech that I gave quite some time ago now about my misadventure in horseback riding when I had to ride the horse that was not my normal horse, and it went astray, and everyone was yelling at me opposite directions, because that is a fond memory of mine, despite it being kind of stressful in the moment. And it gave me opportunities to do a lot of gestures and variety. So that was a really fun speech to prepare and to give. The speech that challenged me the most was a speech that I gave recently about speaking Klingon, not because the topic was difficult, but because I don't think I understood the instructions clearly. In base camp, I thought we were only supposed to use 1 to 3 visual aids, and I thought that was difficult to do, given that it was a 5 to 7 minute speech, although I suspect I misunderstood the directions. So that one was a bit challenging for me, deciding what visuals to include for that length of time. But I still did it. So
Amazing. Okay, so for Karen, the question I have for you, if you could go back and talk to yourself on your first day in Toastmasters, what would you say to yourself? If you could talk to yourself on your first day in Toastmasters, what would you say to yourself?
I would say, I would encourage myself. I would say, Karen, you are in for the time of your life. You won't believe how much fun this is going to be, how many people you'll meet, and how well you'll be able to apply everything you learn in every area of your life. Much like you, Jelena, I had a lot of growth through Toastmasters. It really opened up my world. And when I joined Toastmasters, I did not see that as a possibility. I did not foresee that I would be able to speak to my manager and give negative feedback to my manager. I didn't think I'd ever be able to do that, but I did. And believe me, I did. And it was well received. So the thing I would like to say to myself or to anyone joining Toastmasters is, wow, you are in for the time of your life. You're going to learn so much, grow so much, enjoy so much. You'll meet great people in Toastmasters. In Toastmasters, everybody who joins has that idea in their mind. I can get better. I have a positive attitude about improving. Not everybody in the world does, but when you're in Toastmasters, you're surrounded with people who have that attitude. So it's a fun time, and I would encourage my early self and any other new Toastmaster, grab all the gusto, because it's a wonderful experience. I'm Table Topics Master.
That was awesome. I feel like we should use these table topics questions at the open house too. These are great. So our guest Samara, would you like to try a table topics, or are you good just observing today?
Sure, I can participate.
Yay!
That's amazing. We always applaud bravery, because it does take a lot of bravery to just come in here and speak, right? This is a safe place, as we've mentioned. My question for you is, what are you hoping to get out of Toastmasters, or what brings you here? What are you hoping to get out of Toastmasters, or what brings you here?
I am hoping to get to build my confidence and to practice being assertive, because it's so many things I want to say, but it's just how to say it, because either I don't say anything, or if I do say it, I may sound aggressive in saying it because I held it in so long. Like, so I just need to find that balance of being assertive. Um, I've always heard about Toastmasters, just throughout college and throughout my career, and I just never made the time to join. So I'm a teacher. I've been teaching, and I present in front of students, and I think I do that pretty well. And I always present, but I teach math, so it's more concrete, analytical. So I it's just a different way of talking with students and then just presenting with adults and like my administration and things like that. I'm also in the military, so I'm a first sergeant with my in the Air Force. So I've just recently been placed in this position. So it's like I just really have to motivate, and I really have to motivate the troops. And so I just have to like grow into the position. So, and just have that confidence. So I want confidence. I want to have that clarity. I want to, um, build my leadership skills and just communicate effectively to those that I reach. And also, I want to make like connections with my students. I teach middle school, and they tend to be what's that word for refractory? They yeah. So they tend to be all the time. So it's just like they love you one day and then they hate you. So I just really want to just make a connection with the students. Just so yeah, that's one of the reasons I joined. So and yeah, so and then also it seems like I have a like staying on topic, and my memory is just like I need to like study facts, like not study facts, but just like build my conversational skills. I don't really like chit chatting or not, just how some people just talk and just like to hear themselves talk. And, I just want to build, uh, just have real deep, meaningful conversations with people, not just surface level and just so I've come for a lot of things, and so I've enjoyed your speeches so far, and I'm looking forward to just oh, and it's something else. I know, do I have a time frame? But okay, one more thing. So one more thing is I used to get nervous like in the military. I get like I cry. They had like this mock interview, and I had to it was like the people were looking at me, and I just hate talking about myself. I couldn't believe I just started crying. Like when I had to be bold and confident and say, like, I can do this and I'm this and I'm all that, just me bragging on myself. It was just like, oh my goodness. I don't like doing that. Not so yeah, I'm here. I'm here. And I think I like being here and to build my confidence. Okay, and I'll stop talking. Okay. Thank you.
That was amazing. You managed to tell us so much about your world and why you're here. Like that was amazing.
I probably overshared, but okay.
No,
Like
no,
I just met you guys.
we love sharing. um, yeah, so you were able to speak for the full time. You used the word of the day, like you were able to like say the points of why you were joining or why you were here, and then summarize them. So that was really cool. Thank you for being brave. And I think one thing I can really relate to of what you're saying is being able to speak about yourself highly. It almost feels like wrong, right? Like you feel like you're not supposed to be thinking of yourself that way. But I think one thing that Toastmasters has taught me is that it's okay to be proud of myself. Like I am a very capable person and I can speak about that like confidently.
Mhm.
But with that, I will return control to Toastmaster of the Day, Karen.
All right, thank you, Toastmaster or Madam Table Topics Master. And now we're going to go into our evaluation portion of the meeting. Although Dottie is not here, normally we would give a 2 to 3 minute evaluation for each speaker. But since Dottie's not here, I'm still going to give a summary of my evaluation for Dottie, just for the benefit of other people understanding how to give evaluations. So I thought Dottie had a great opening, very relatable. I loved how she was calling out to Willie, who, where's her glasses? Where's her keys? How many times have I done that? I liked how she was very engaging. It felt very personal and personable, talking about, she wove in a lot of personal things into that story. Like for instance, I didn't know that she volunteered to do chair aerobics, for instance. I liked that she had a lot of good information, but I would have asked her, if she gives this presentation again, to have less printed information on the screen, more of a summary on the screen, so that people would be listening to her and not spending their concentration reading facts and information from the screen. And if another item I would say, which Dottie has improved so much upon, but I'm going to say I think she didn't practice this speech a lot because she has a tendency to clip her words and stop short in her phrases instead of having a melodic tone. And so I think a little bit more practice next time would have helped that. Now we'll move on to our next evaluation, and we're going to have swapping evaluators. So I will ask Kimberly to come forward and give a 2 to 3 minute evaluation of Jelena's speech.
Wow. Wowie, wow, 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 wow. That was amazing. Coming from your first ever speech to now, the growth is, it's like not even measurable. It's wild. It's so good. So for this speech specifically, I loved that you used an M&M reference to open the speech. That was really cute and cheeky, but it was also perfect for your topic, and it just shows how intelligent you are that you were able to think of that. You talked about your personal evolution, and you did something that has been suggested multiple times of going kind of in a chronological order, which makes sense because it's about your journey through Toastmasters. I like how you compared and contrasted your icebreaker speech the first time you did it. You were like, what made me me? And those gestures were really good, and your vocal variety on that was really good. And then contrasting that with the second time you did an icebreaker speech, you said that that helped you to discover a new version of yourself and understand your value. You used a ton of like $100 vocabulary words. I wrote down a few. Decouple, that was a really great word. Uncovering complex information. What else did you say? There was another one. My notes are all gibberishy. Translator, storyteller, trusted voice. So you had some really great vocabulary words in there. Your eye contact was great. Your vocal clarity was great. I could understand every single thing you said. Your audience awareness was great. Comfort level, you are extremely comfortable with the audience. And gestures, you used your gestures effectively. When you said uplift, you did one of these, uplift, which was good. And I was shocked to hear that you signed up for an acting class. That is so fun, and I'm proud of you for doing that. So it's really, really hard for me to think of something that you could do better. So I'm really stretching with this. But I do this too. Every time I end a phrase, I go down. So I am ending the phrase, going down. You could try and stretch yourself by going up, although it feels really unnatural. So maybe try it, and if you don't like it, forget it. And then you brought back the M&M reference at the very end, and you had a call to action. So just like gold star, I'm amazed. Great job.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kimberly. Wow. Lots of details in that evaluation. Very good. See, that's the best part of an evaluation is when people give you details and examples to help you grow. And now we'll go to Jelena, who will give her evaluation of Kimberly's speech. Jelena?
Yeah, Kimberly, I really enjoyed your speech. I thought it was a great example of how vocal variety can really bring a message to life. So starting with the comparison between a campfire and a sparkler, I thought that was a really clever way to frame your message, both give off light but in such different ways. And I like that idea carried through beautifully in your delivery. Sometimes your voice was soft and calm like a campfire, and other times it was bright and unpredictable like a sparkler. I think that contrast made it really engaging to listen to. I also like that you didn't just use your voice, you used your whole presence. The way you emphasize certain words, use pauses, varied your pitch and pace, you really make things pop. And your facial expressions and body language worked so well with your voice. I think it added a whole extra layer to the speech. Humor, that's where you shine. I thought that was great here too. The image of possibly burning your hand or picking up the bucket. I think the way you delivered it made it even better. Those little moments of surprise along with your metaphors kept things really light and playful. I really enjoyed that you painted a clear picture with your words and your movements, talking to the imaginary pets, describing a biscuit factory. Those parts stood out because your voice helped us see what you were saying. I thought your language was strong and thoughtful. I really liked when you said rife. I liked the structure too. It was clear and easy to follow. We're different. Here's why. It was very simple, but it was effective. One moment that stood out to me was how you dropped into a much lower monotone voice. I think that's lower than I've heard in any of the speeches before. But you didn't stay there. You brought in musicality, which I thought was great. And that shift helps create contrasts, especially when you moved into kind of some more somber territory, talking about the medical challenges. You use your voice to shift that tone to be more somber and reflective, and I think that landed really well. But what I liked most of all was the ending. We all have light inside of us, and sharing it makes the world brighter. That was such a powerful way to close. And you said it with like such warmth and energy that it really left a lasting impression. All in all, I'd say this is probably the widest range of vocal variety I've seen in a speech like this. So, congratulations. And it wasn't just variety for variety's sake. Like, you used it to tell your story in a really meaningful way. I'm sorry I don't have too much feedback about how you can improve. I think this type of speech is your really where you shine. I think when you're, engaging humor and able to use your body and your facial gestures, I think that's where you really thrive. And so I thought this was an awesome speech. Thank you for delivering it, and keep growing, I guess.
Thank you, Jelena. We didn't have anybody assigned as a table topics evaluator for today, but I'm just going to give my overall impressions. I like the theme of table topics, and for each question that was asked, I'm going to say that each person really had a thoughtful, reflective answer. So you revealed something about your inner thoughts, and I appreciate that, because what we're learning by doing that is we're giving honest feedback, honest answers to questions that we don't know are coming. And sometimes if you're at work, or if you're in school or in the military, somebody might ask you a question and you need to give an honest answer, right? You need to be clear and honest. And I think that we've seen some excellent examples of that today with our table topics. Even with our guests, Samara, what you told us today, I think it might even qualify as an icebreaker speech. Moving on in the agenda, during this evaluation portion of our meeting, we always evaluate how well did the meeting go and what did people do well. So I'll ask Kimberly to give us our counter grammarian report and explain what that role is.
The purpose of the counter grammarian is to help us recognize the use of filler words or improper use of grammar, and to recognize exceptional language or vocabulary usage, including the word of the day. We did very well today overall. Everybody had a couple of uhs or ums. We had one like a piece, but other than that, I didn't catch anything. So we all as a group have really improved on our filler word usage, and I noticed that the filler word usage was when we were speaking more off the cuff, not even necessarily in the table topics portion, but when we were discussing things amongst ourselves. So I just did it. I'll write down a so for myself. And word of the day, refractory. It was, excuse me, it was used by Toastmaster Karen Baird and our guest, Samara. That's amazing. I've never used the word of the day, and you did it your first time as a guest. So, wow, amazing. That is the grammarian report.
Thank you.
My name is pronounced Samara.
Oh, Samara.
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you, thank you, Samara, for that. Now
Mhm.
we'll go to our timers report. Felice Wong will give us the timers report, explain why we do the timings, and then give us the timers report.
Okay, so timer of the day today. The timing we why sorry, I'm not prepared for the introduction part.
Okay.
So the rule is basically we have a planned time for each speech, from the prepared speech and then the table topics and the evaluation. And we are I am counting that time for every speech and give the report at the end. The So here's my timers report. For the first prepared speech from Toastmaster Dottie Hamilton, it's a 5 to 7 minute speech, and she spoke about 7 minutes and 38 seconds. The second speech by Jelena Verkler, it's 10 to 12 minutes, and she spoke for 11 minutes and 52 seconds. The third prepared speech by Kimberly Baird, it's 5 to 7 minutes, and she spoke for 5 minutes and 11 seconds. For our table topics, I spoke about 1 minute and 30 seconds. Then Kimberly spoke for 1 minute and 26 seconds. And Karen Baird spoke for 1 minute and 31 seconds. And our guest speaker, Samara, you spoke for 3 minutes and 58 seconds. That is longer, but we really appreciate you sharing your story and appreciate everything that your enthusiasm. And then the evaluation part, it's going to be 2 to 3 minutes for each evaluation. From Karen Baird, your evaluation was 1 minute and 12 seconds. And then Kimberly Baird, it was 2 minutes and 50 seconds. And Jelena, the evaluation was 3 minutes. That concludes my timers report.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that timers report. And I'm glad to see that with very little exception, we stayed within our timers, our timings this time. So that's wonderful. And now we're going, well, I wouldn't say we're going overtime because of the agenda does have us till 7:30. But I will say that we've covered all of our materials, and now it's time for open questions, comments, and discussion. So my first question will be to Samara is, can we send you some information about our club? Do you think you might be interested in joining this club? Have you seen other clubs? Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute.
Okay.
There we go.
So yeah, this is my first Toastmasters club. So meeting, yeah. So like I said, I've been wanting to join, and so I know I haven't been to any other club. So this is my first one. So, but I like it so far. I love it so far. So, I'll have to read the information and things like that, and so I'll make my decision.
All right, wonderful. I'll email you some information, and if you have any questions or any questions not only about this club but Toastmasters in general, you can feel free to ask me because I've been in Toastmasters a long time, and I love to give people the information that they need.
Oh, and yeah, sometimes, and I kind of wanted like an in person too. So I mean, so I haven't really decided, but I like the convenience of being online. So yeah, I'm still making my choice.
All
But
righty.
I'm like, really, this is my first step in even attending a Toastmasters. So,
Mhm.
okay.
Okay, great. Well, we're glad that you chose us.
Oh, thank you.
And we hope that,
And I really enjoyed the meeting. It was really good.
okay, wonderful. We usually, I'm going to say on a typical meeting, we maybe have a couple more people on just on an average meeting. So this was a little bit smaller than usual, but not that much smaller. But we do have a really good dynamic, I think, fun, interesting club that's focused on growth. So every club is different based on who's in that club and what they are focusing on. So I hope that you like ours enough to join our club. All right, let's talk about our next meeting. Let's see, let me bring up the calendar. Our next meeting is on June 24th. Well, I've run out of ink here. So does anybody have something in mind, a role that they would like to have on our next meeting?
I'll do Toastmaster of the day.
Okay.
I'll do an evaluation. Do we have speeches assigned out for that meeting still or no?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me see.
It's all listed in the agenda now.
Yeah, our agenda for the next meeting, we have Bill Moylan listed as a speaker, Brittany. We have Felice. And those are our 3 assigned speakers.
Okay, I'll do an evaluation.
Okay, great. Felice, you're listed as a speaker. Is there any other role you'd like to take as well?
I think I'll just do the speaker.
Uh-huh. Okay, that's fair. All right, and then maybe I'll try doing table topics. I'll be table topics master next time. So
I can also do like a general evaluator. I can do another role.
you can, okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll contact the other members to fill up the other roles. All right. For our general evaluation of this meeting, I think we had a very good meeting. We started on time. We had the key roles were all filled. We had 3 excellent, wonderful speeches, and I thought good evaluations where we were able to get good explanations of what went right and things that could be improved upon. Table topics were interesting. And I feel like our overall meeting was improved our knowledge, improved our skills, and was warm and inviting. I have a question for you. Do we want to have themed meetings in the future where the word of the day, table topics would be along a theme?
I think that could be fun. Who would be in charge of coming up with the theme from week to week and disseminating that out?
Oh, probably the Toastmaster of the day, but we could work it out. Maybe we just come up with a big list. Okay,
And that could be like added to the agenda ahead of time.
yeah.
So yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I think that sounds fun, but I think it might be a little tricky because we're often filling gaps
Uh-huh.
at right at the beginning or before the meeting time starts.
Well, let's just give it a try and see how we like it. And if we like it, makes the meeting more fun, more interesting, then we'll keep doing it. All right. All right, with that, I have no more items on the agenda. Are there any other comments or questions from the group? Yes,
Mara.
yes, Mara.
I have a question. So how, like, if I wanted, when is the training? Is it like if I need to use voice inflection, or do you have to go to a separate meeting, or like the actual training for, I mean, it seems like this meeting is for like if you're actually implementing in practice. Is there like do you all have like conferences or something?
Well, what we have the what we call the Pathways education system. So in the Pathways, it's a course with 5 levels, and level 1 is all basic skills. And so you would have assignments of different speeches that you would have to do, and each one of those speeches would be focusing on a particular skill. For instance, the first speech is always an icebreaker. The second speech is writing a speech with a purpose. So the second speech is more like figuring out how to organize your speech so that you can achieve your message. Then we go from there into facial expressions and body language. And throughout each time you have an assignment in the course, you're given another skill to focus on. So it builds upon each other. And then in every meeting, we have table topics where we always practice impromptu speaking. And throughout all of our meetings, we're always practicing the elimination of filler words and the improvement of our vocabulary.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, so when you join, you get this curriculum. Is it like an online curriculum that you have to see through? Oh, okay,
yes, it's an online curriculum, and that way it's readily available. We don't do paper booklets anymore. That was in our old legacy system, but that's been gone for some time now.
Okay. Oh, nice. Okay.
And not only, and as long as we're discussing it within the pathway system, there are 6 different choices of what kind of curriculum you want to go for based on what your specific interests are.
Okay. All right. Thank you for clarifying that. Thank you.
Sure. Anybody else want to chime in with anything?
Yeah, so let me see if I can show you this real quick. So like for my project that I just did, for example, oh, actually, you know what? Never mind. I can't share this. I'm using my work computer. Disregard. But it gives you like a video, a YouTube video where it's like understanding vocal variety. And then there's, maybe like a 5-minute video. You watch the video and it gives you like a step-by-step thing that you click through, and it gives you all the different topics and it gives you little exercises to do. So that's how you learn to do it. And then you get an accompanying speech assignment with all the different things that you learned. And it gives you a rubric to use so that you know how you'll be graded. You can practice. And they'll also, if you'd like to have a mentor, the club is happy to provide one if you sign up with us.
Just to pile on, there's the evaluations. So you get your evaluation from another member of the club. So you're getting an evaluation from somebody else who's in the club. You're also learning to give evaluations. So that's a really helpful skill too. You're learning how to listen when you're an evaluator and provide positive feedback, motivational feedback. So you're motivating people regardless of the things they did well or things they need to improve on. You learn how to be motivational. And then as the receiver of that, you learn how to receive that feedback and make use of it. And you also get you'll get emailed a copy of the evaluation for your keeping too. So now I think that we've told everything. We've told everything that happens in the club. Next time we'll talk about all the stuff that happens on contests and conferences and trainings. So, whoops. So, okay, with all questions being answered, I will call this meeting to a close. Thank you all. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.